Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to my channel. My name is Sadie, and today I'll be guiding you through a 45-minute Vinyasa flow for the mornings. So, in this practice, we will begin seated. Make sure to have a block or a cushion nearby for our very first pose. And this is a great practice to do when you're feeling a little bit sore in the morning. You want to get into your body, start connecting to your breath, calm yourself down right away. So it's a great practice to do right when you wake up. All levels are welcome to try out this practice, and it's a great one to come back to over and over again. So let's get started. Let's bring one foot in front. So it doesn't matter which foot it is. I have my right foot in front, and then my other foot I'm going to pull in close. So we're in this kind of position here. So from here, we can bring that block or cushion right in front of us and just slowly start to walk your way forward. So I know that this pose is a little bit tight on my hips, so I need a little bit more of a lift. So once you get here, you'll feel a deep stretch in the foot that's in front's hip. So really just breathe into that area and allow yourself to relax. We'll press into the fingertips and gently lift up out of this pose. And then just switch the feet that's in front. So bring that other foot in front, pulling the other foot in towards the body. Sit up nice and tall, and then start to crawl your fingers forward. To help deepen this stretch, you can pull those sits bones back behind you, extending through the crown, creating a longer line in the spine. We'll press into the hands, lifting up. Any props that you might have used, you can move over to the side. You won't be needing them again. And we'll come to all fours. So a tabletop position, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, pressing the fingers into the mat as we gently drop the belly, open the chest, take an inhale. And exhale, press away, round the spine. Inhale, drop the belly. And exhale. So continue with this movement on your own, bending from cat to cow. And then feel free to start bringing this movement to the sides, maybe making small circles with the rib cage. Just working in any direction that your body needs this morning. All right, take your last cat-cow. And we'll meet with a long spine. From here, pressing the left hand into the mat, we'll reach the right arm high and thread it through. Bringing that right shoulder down to the mat. Placing that left hand wherever it helps us get a bigger stretch. And then we'll press those left hands down, reach the right arm back up to unwind, and place that hand next to the left. We'll take it on the left side. Right hand presses down, left arm reaches high. Big inhale. And on an exhale, thread it through. Left shoulder comes down. So on this side, notice if your hips are swaying to one side or the other, and try to pull them both towards center. Bringing the right hand back underneath the shoulder, we'll press to unwind, left arm re-extending, and then bring it back down. We'll tuck both toes and slowly start to lift the knees off the mat, hips lifting high. Downward facing dog. So this is our first down dog, so walk it out, pedaling from one foot to the other, and keeping a soft bend in the knees. We'll bend through both knees, lifting the heels off the mat, shifting the gaze in between the hands, and we'll step or just tiptoe our way to the front of the mat, forward fold, keeping the feet hip-width distance apart. So to tell where that is, bring both fists in between the feet, and that's where your feet should be. So we'll stay here for a moment, nodding the head yes and no, releasing any tension in the neck. And we'll take a flat back. So releasing the crown back down. We'll bring the hands to the shins or the thighs, pressing the crown away, extending through the spine. And come all the way back down. We'll loop the hands out to the side, reaching all the way up to the sky, to our standing pose, Tadasana. Hands joined together, thumbs come to the heart. Feeling all four corners of the feet pressing into the mat. A lifting sensation in the inner legs. A grounding sensation on the outer, pressing all the way down to that knife edge of both feet. On our next inhale, we'll reach the arms down and loop them up to the sky, reaching tall. Hands joined together at the heart, and we'll fold, slicing all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, hands come down to the mat. We'll step the feet back, plank pose, high plank, keeping those elbows nice and tight, pressing into all 10 fingers. We'll inhale to look forward, engaging the belly. Exhale, lower all the way down, pulling the elbows into the side body. Untuck the toes and lift up, bringing the heart forward, elbows staying bent. And exhale, lower all the way down. Press through all fours as we make our way to downward facing dog. Bend both knees, lift the heels, shift the gaze forward. And we'll step or hop our way back to the front of the mat. Feet hip-width distance apart. We'll lift up halfway. Big inhale. And exhale, hands come down. We'll loop the hands to lift up to stand. Hands join together and come down to the heart. Big inhale here. Arms reach out wide, reaching up to the sky. Hands join together and we'll fold all the way down. Inhale, lifting up, flat back. And exhale, hands come down. Planting the hands, we'll step the feet back, high plank. Engaging the core. Big inhale to look forward. Exhale, you can lower all the way down to the belly or lower halfway to chaturanga. Going into your cobra or up dog from here. So if you're in an up dog, the hips are lifted off of the mat. And then we'll press all the way back on an exhale, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, shift the gaze forward. We'll step or hop our way to the front of the mat. Flat back, big inhale here. And exhale, hands come down. We'll loop those hands to reach up to the sky, standing tall. Hands join together, and right away we'll fold back down. Forward fold. Inhale, lifting up halfway. And exhale, hands come down. We'll step it back, high plank. Inhale to look forward. On an exhale, lower to belly or to chaturanga, up dog or cobra. We'll meet in our downward facing dog. Take a moment here, pedal out the feet. Try to lift those sits bones even higher as we press through the shoulders, through the fingers into the mat. On an inhale, we'll send the right leg high, three-legged dog, keeping that leg square, pulling the pinky toes towards the mat, heel towards the sky. We'll draw that knee in towards the nose, coming into a plank pose. Stepping the right foot in between the hands, dropping the back knee, and untucking the toes, coming into our low lunge. We can either bring both hands onto that front knee, or we can reach the arms all the way up to the sky, taking our crescent lunge. So wherever we are, we're squeezing both legs towards the midline, sending those hips forward and leaning back just ever so slightly. We'll release the hands down to the mat, framing the front foot, and start to pull the hips back, flexing through the right toes, taking our half splits. So in this position, you can bring the hands right underneath your shoulders for more support. You can walk the hands out in line with the heel, or you can shift the heel forward just slightly to get even deeper of a stretch. Wherever you are, think of extending through the crown, finding length before we crunch into that fold. Nice. We'll roll forward, back onto that front foot, tuck the back toes, and lift all the way up to a runner's lunge. So a straight back knee, Pressing into the feet, we'll lift the fingertips off the mat to a hover. Feeling those legs turn on. Stay here for 3, for 2, and on the 1, we'll plant the left hand and step the right foot back, taking our side plank. So you can either stack the feet or have one foot in front of the other for support. We're just here for a quick moment, feeling the side body engage. Shifting back to our high plank, and we'll take our vinyasa. Belly to cobra or chaturanga to upward facing dog. We'll meet in our downward facing dog. Inhaling, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Keeping that leg square, we'll draw the left knee in towards the nose, holding here. And then step that foot in between the hands. Feel free to use your left hand for assistance if you can't quite get that leg there. We'll drop the back knee, untuck the toes. And you can either bring the hands to the knee, pressing our way up, or reach the arms down and up, crescent lunge. So thinking of pressing that back foot into the mat, squeezing the legs in towards the midline. Those two things will help with balance here. And if you feel really stable, you can shift your gaze up to the sky, taking a small back bend. We'll melt those hands down, framing the front foot, and pull the hips back, taking our half splits. Left toes flexing up towards the face. To help get length, we can think of sitting in a chair here. So sending those hips back as if there was a chair behind us and trying to sit into that chair. And you'll notice a deeper stretch in the hamstring and a little bit more length in the crown. We'll shift back forward, tucking the back toes, coming into our runner's lunge, extending through the back knee, lifting the fingertips off the mat to a hover. We're here for 3, for 2. On the 1, we'll lower the right hand and step the left foot back to meet the right side plank. So lifting up that bottom hip, trying to get even higher in the side plank. We'll shift back, high plank. Inhale, look forward, exhale, lower to belly, to cobra, or chaturanga to upward facing dog. So lowering, inhale to back bend, exhale to press it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Create a little space in that right hip. We'll re-extend that leg square off the hips and step the right foot in between the hands, coming into our warrior one. So planting that back foot behind us, keeping the front knee bent, back knee straight as we lift up. Trying to shine both hips to the front space. We'll bend both elbows, taking our cactus arms, then lean back. Keeping that bend in the front knee. We'll re-extend the arms, reaching to the sky. And then just melt the fingertips down to the mat. Shifting back to our runner's lunge. We'll plant the hands and step it back, plank pose. Taking our vinyasa. Inhale to look forward, belly to cobra or chaturanga to up dog. We'll lower down. Inhale to lift. And exhale, press it back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Bending the knee, opening the hip. Trying to press evenly into both hands, even though our hips are twisted, still trying to keep that balance in the front of the body. We'll re-extend that left leg, squaring it off, and step it in between the hands. Warrior one. So back foot planted, turned out about 45 degrees. We're pressing into the back edge of that foot as we're pulling the right hips towards the front of our space. We'll bend the elbows, lean back, opening up the heart. Re-extending the arms, lengthening the spine. We'll melt it down, coming into our runner's lunge. Coming back onto the ball of the right foot. And we'll plant the hands, stepping the left foot back to meet the right, high plank. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, belly to cobra or chaturanga to up dog. Exhale to lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Keeping it square this time, we'll step that foot through the hands, coming into a high lunge. So reaching those hands high, taking a slight bend in that back knee if we notice crunching in our lower back. And right away, we'll open up warrior two. So twisting that back foot so that it's parallel to the shorter edges of the yoga mat. Nice strong bend in that front knee. From here, we'll swivel both heels into the center, toes out to the side, bending knees, bending elbows, taking our goddess pose. So sink those hips nice and low here. We'll stay here for 3 cycles of breath. So you'll want to pace yourself a little bit here. Nice, we'll drop the left hand down, extending the left leg and swiveling that foot back to parallel, coming into our reverse warrior. Lifting back to center, warrior two. We'll straighten through the front leg, Slide the right hand all the way down towards the shin, hips shifting back as we reach that left arm to the sky. And if it bothers your head at all to look up towards the upper hand, you can look forward or even shift your gaze down. From here, we'll all shift our gaze down, bending into the front knee, releasing the hands to frame the front foot, coming into our runner's lunge, and we'll step it forward. Left leg meets the right, forward fold. Bringing the toes together, heels slightly apart, we'll sink the hips down, taking a chair pose, reaching the arms all the way up as we sink the hips low. One more breath here. And on an exhale, release down, forward fold. Taking our vinyasa, lifting up halfway, extending the crown. And exhale, hands come down. Step it back, plank pose. Lower to belly, then cobra or chaturanga to up dog. Meeting in downward facing dog. We'll take it on the second side. Inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. And exhale, step it in between the hands, coming into a high lunge. Right away, opening up, warrior two. Nice strong stance here. We'll swivel both heels in, toes out, bending knees, bending elbows, taking our goddess pose. And once again, we'll stay here for about 3 cycles of breath. Keeping energy in those fingers. Right hand releases down to the right leg. We'll straighten the right leg, swiveling the toes to parallel. And then we'll reach up and back, taking a reverse warrior. Lifting back up, warrior two. We'll straighten through the front leg. Send the hips back as we slide the left hand all the way down to the shin, reaching that right arm high. So feeling all 4 corners of each foot pressing into the mat. The hips drawing towards the back wall as we press against this pose to twist the body. Wherever our gaze is, we'll twist it towards that front leg, releasing both hands down to frame the front foot. Runner's lunge, and then we'll step that back foot to meet the front, bringing the toes together, heels slightly apart, dropping the hips down, reaching the arms high, chair pose. So try to sink even lower this time. Taking one more inhale. And on an exhale, we'll fold, straightening through those legs. Taking our vinyasa, we'll inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, plant the hands, step it back, plank pose. Inhale to look forward. Belly to cobra or chaturanga to up dog. We'll bend the elbows, lowering down. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, press it back. Downward facing dog. Bend the knees, lift the heels, look in between the hands, and we'll hop our way back to the front of the mat, forward fold. From here, let's heel toe those feet nice and wide, coming into a yogi squat, malasana, so bending through the knees, dropping the hips, and then we can keep those hands on the mat, or we can draw them together and bring them into the heart, pressing elbows into inner thighs or knees. And this doesn't have to be completely still, so you can take some small rocks from side to side, really opening up those hips. And from here, we're going to shift into our bear pose. So reaching both arms out to the side, palms facing the front. Then we'll shift the heels back, toes front, lifting the hips, sending them back. So this is our bear squat. So dropping as low as we can, trying to get the body parallel to the floor. Staying here for 3, for 2, on the 1 we'll release over, wrapping the peace fingers around each big toe, pulling the forehead down. Releasing the toes, bringing the hands back to center. We'll open the toes out to the side, drop the hips, taking our malasana once more. Hands coming together, pressing elbows against inner thighs, or you can keep the hands on the mat. And then same thing, we're going to open up the arms, coming into our bear pose. So shifting the toes forward to parallel, hips shifting back. From here, we'll drop the right hand inside the right foot. And then we'll step that left foot back so that it's parallel with the shorter edge of the mat, coming into our side angle pose. And if touching the ground is too deep, we can lift right elbow to right knee. And wherever we are, we can adjust that top hand so it's either reaching up toward the sky or the bicep is right by the ear. Pressing into both feet, we'll start to lift all the way up, coming back to our warrior 2. We'll swivel both toes front this time, interlacing the hands behind our back, taking a wide-legged forward fold, so extending the knuckles back and down as we open the heart and then send it forward. Keeping a slight bend in the knees, not locking anything out, keeping a slight bend in the elbows as well. Trying to avoid any kind of slingshot action, we'll release the hands back down to the mat. Walking back to the front, coming into our runner's lunge, straight back knee. We'll walk the fingertips a couple inches in front of our right foot and shift forward, coming into our standing split. So kicking that left heel towards the back wall. This leg does not have to be high. I'd rather it be parallel to the floor. And we'll pull that left hip into its socket and then adjust, bringing the left foot to meet the right. Forward folds. From here, heel toeing the feet nice and wide, coming into our Malasana Yogi squat, dropping the hips down, hands coming to prayer. We'll open the arms wide, shifting into bear pose, toes adjust to the front, hips pull back. Stretching the knees, releasing the hands, peace fingers wrap around the big toes. Releasing the hands, turn the toes back out, take our Malasana, dropping the hips low, elbows pressing against thighs. We'll reach both arms out to the side, palms facing the front. Shift the toes to the front, hips towards the back. From here, we'll take that left hand to the inside of the left foot, stepping the right foot back so that's parallel with the shorter edge of the mat, coming into our side angle pose. So you can lift that left elbow to rest on the left knee or keep it on the ground. The top arm can reach up towards the sky or the bicep can reach along the ear. Lift all the way up, pressing into the feet, warrior two. Adjust both toes to the front so that they're parallel to the shorter edge of the mat. We'll interlace the fingers behind the lower back, dropping the knuckles, opening the heart. And we'll take a fold forward, wide-legged forward fold. And notice if you're keeping any tension in the neck. So let the crown of the head release towards the mat. Releasing the hands from one another, gently bringing them down to the mat. We'll walk towards the front of our mat, coming into our runner's lunge. And then we'll shift the fingertips about 5 inches in front of the left foot, coming into our standing splits. Right heel pressing against the back wall. We'll pull that right leg into the sockets as we bring it down to meet the left. Forward folds. We'll take our vinyasa, lifting up, flat back. Inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, plank pose. Take our vinyasa. Belly to cobra or chaturanga to upward facing dog. Meet in downward facing dog. And we'll drop both knees down, keeping the toes tucked. And we'll sit the hips back, taking our child's pose. So getting a nice stretch in the instep of the feet. And if you want more of an opening, You can drop the elbows down, coming into a prayer position with the hands, and then sinking the hips back once more, bringing the thumbs to the back of the neck. If your elbows are bent, re-extend them and slowly walk your way back to your knees. We'll set the hips over to one side, sending the legs out long. From here, we'll cross right foot over left leg and then pull the left heel towards the right glute. So coming into this crossed position, we'll reach our left arm to the sky and then take a twist over to the right. So hooking that left elbow to the outside of the right knee. We'll unwind, sending both legs out long, and take it on the other side. So pulling the left knee into the chest, crossing left foot over the right leg, and then pulling the right heel in towards the glutes. We'll reach the right arm to the sky, left arm behind us, and take a twist, hooking the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Unwind, re-extending the legs, maybe coming onto the heels and taking some windshield wipers if you're feeling like you want a little bit of a release in the hips. And then we'll make our way all the way down onto our backs. We'll give ourselves one final hug, so pulling the knees into the chest, rocking from side to side, getting a little massage in that lower back. And if you want to take one final pose here, you can take a happy baby, grabbing the outsides of both feet, pulling the knees down, trying to keep the hips level. And when you feel ready, start to extend one leg out and then the other as wide as you would like, taking up a lot of space. And once you have settled, you can allow the eyes to soften, taking these final moments to go inward. Start to wake up the body, sending small movements to the fingers and toes. We'll send the arms overhead for a full body stretch. And then roll everything over onto the right side. Using our hands, we'll press our way up to a comfortable seat, keeping the eyes soft or closed, finding the seat without looking for it. Once we find our seat, draw the hands together and bring the thumbs to the heart. Just take a moment here to notice how the body feels. Wonderful work today. We'll draw the hands to the third eye. Thank you all for practicing with me. And let's take our final bow. Namaste.